Hi, this is Srinivas Tamada, founder of 9lesson.info. Today I'm going to talk about React login with Facebook and Google. I think I posted a few articles about React, like how to create a welcome and routing, and actually this post is continuation of that post. If you see this in the repository, you can check out the part one, and then you'll see this basically like this page has a routing with the home and if you go to the if it is by default is a login page. So today I'm going to explain about like how React works with Facebook and Google social login with authentication. So I made a small demo at React paypal.9lesson.info. This is a small project for PayPal checkout. So you can log in with a Facebook or Gmail. Once you logged in, it will pull your information, and then you can make orders, all this stuff. All these things I'll explain later. But this actually about like how we can log in with Facebook and Google. There are a lot of npm plugins, so using that I'm going to implement this. I'm going to apply it here. So instead of login and sign up, I'm replacing with like Facebook and Google. So for that, like we need to install few plugins. This is called React Google login, and the same way React Facebook login. So let's start. So this is what my project now, and if you see, this is what my repository, and I'll explain like how to create a API, also how the data is inserting in the database, and how to secure the RESTful API, because anybody can insert wrong emails, but how you can secure your RESTful API also I'll explain. So let's yeah, this is what my project, and here there are a lot of components. I explained all these things in previous video, and these are like welcome page. Here is the login and sign up, and if you see the package.json, we don't have anything for the Facebook and Google. So let's install that. Here you'll find all the instructions, or else like you can just simply like try to execute this npm install react google login and give a save. This actually create a package dependency, and it'll add into your package.json. If you don't want to add it, you can just give save dev, but anyway we need this for any deployments or something. So this will add some dependencies now. So it got installed now. If you see your package.json, yeah, see this got added now. And now go and install the npm install react facebook login and the save. Yeah, we got some error like this is not supporting the latest 6.16.0, so we need to change back to the previous stable version. So I'm going to change it to 15.6.2 for the Facebook login. So whenever you change the dependency, like you just delete the node module and delete it, or yeah, like yeah, move to trash, and then try to execute that like npm install. So it'll try to reinstall all the dependencies again, and with React 15.6.6.2, and then we can implement the React Facebook login. Yeah, now I'm installing the Facebook login. Let's now it'll install. So again, see, if you see this React Google is not supporting the older version. So what you're going to do is, in this case, this is a little tricky. Install the Facebook first with changing the older version, and then try to install the new one. So that way you can solve this problem. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, somewhat try to change it. Like anyway, I gave the new repository here, and try it out. Uh, yeah, once you got installed, just follow the instructions. This is what we are going to use. Try to import this and or this. So let me copy this and import. We are going to use this in the welcome.js. So I just copied this, and the same way if you go to the Facebook, and same instructions will be. I'm just copying this and importing it here. So instead of login and sign up, I'm going to use their buttons. Yeah, go to the render page and copy this. So this is what my render instead of login. I'm just giving Google one, and then go to the Facebook one, go to here, and instead of this I'm using a Facebook component. So yeah, so now we're going to replace these client ID and your app ID, so then it'll actually works. Okay, so go to the auth login, and this is my one of my project. If you see the documentation, I just give all the steps. Anyway, I post the article. First, go to your Facebook. Yeah, now you can create a new app with your Facebook login. I just create a new app. Click here and give your project name, and then click on create Apple ID. So it'll ask you some. Yeah, now it'll prompt you what kind of product you're going to add. So don't add anything here, don't select anything here, just go to your dashboard. So this is what your app ID now. So take this app ID, instead of this app ID you can just replace it here. Okay, so here we need name, email and picture. It's fine, no need to add anything here, and go back to here. So and now go to the settings. Give your policy URL and terms and conditions, and here you have to add your platform. So when you click on here, just select the website, and then it will prompt you to enter your URL. So in my case, if you see my project, this is my URL. This is what my project URL, where you are actually deploying it. I already posted. This is actually I'm using Google Firebase deployment. So this is what you can give here. Like this is what your web project URL. That's it, and just save. Give save changes, and now go back to the app review. Uh, just make it true. I mean, this actually it is in a dev mode, a development mode. Make it live. Actually, just choose some kind of a category, what your application, under which category. So now it is live. So this way you can configure the Facebook, and the same way if you go to the Google, there is a small link called Google App API Console. So if you go here, you'll find some options, and I actually specified all the settings here. Just choose auth client ID. Just now you have to choose the web application, and now give your project name, and now here is the authorization URL. This is what my project. So the same way, give your URL, and here, sorry, I'm just closing this. So this is what your JavaScript. No need to worry about this, and try to enter here. It'll add here, then just give create. So once it got created, it will give you the client ID and client secret. Just copy this and go here and replace this. That's it. No need to worry about other things. So your configuration is done. Back to the, if you see the client, they'll give small instructions where exactly it will go. If it is on success, they're actually triggering a response Google function, and the same way on failure also you can trigger this. If you see the Facebook, the same way they're doing it. So I'm just copying this because it's these things happening in the render side, so I'm copying here. So this is what for Facebook, and the same way for Google. What happening is this component, like if anything wrong or success or failure, it will triggers here. So the response actually it's coming from the Facebook and Google, entire response coming here. So for handling this, after getting the response, we need to trigger our API. So I'm just writing a small function for sign up. So here our actually API is going to connect. I think if you see my the latest article, like how to communicate with a RESTful API and URL. So I just created a small service for connecting APIs. If you see this post data.js, so this is what my RESTful API. So this is a small promise function, and it's actually using the fetch to communicate post and get. So here in the if you check out from the welcome, so I already implemented this. So now back to the welcome page. So in the sign up, once I got the response, I'm sending it here, and then I'm going to communicate with the API. So for this response, I'm going to use this called response and type. Type is like what is a provider. So here I'm going to use that. Before that, I'm going to create a small constructor. So for binding all the elements, so props and super props for this is actually initiating the global object. It's called using this. So here you can just create a small state. You can use like kind of like okay. So redirect, because if it is anything success or failure, we can change the state. Okay, I'm just creating this, and then I created a small function. So you have to bind with global this. So this dot sign up bind and this. So now this is working. So I'm going to call this here like this dot sign up, and the response is response. And the type is like Facebook, and the same function I am calling it here as well. So instead of this, I am going to Google, changing to Google, because so based on this type, I'm going to differentiate the post, because Facebook sends the response in a different way and Google sends the response in a different way. That is why I just differentiated here. So let's in this I'm going to create post data function. So for that we need to import this service. So that's like I'm just importing that import, like that's name is post data from, okay, let's there's out like services, and then post data. So now I can use this. Okay, so hope I explained this. How this works is like we need a type and user data. Type is like it's actually the URL where exactly you hosted the URL, and this actually appends. Instead of type, I can use something else, maybe service URL or something. Okay, so like you can use the function like this, post data. If you see my previous tutorial, I explained it. Like, say this is what the function like. Yep. So I'm just copying this and pasting it here. Yeah, now it's good. So yeah, so once we got anything, so we are going to play it here. Let's see what is going to happen. So instead of redirect reference, we had actually I just gave redirect false. So I'm just changing the name as same as my previous video. So this actually, if it is false, if we got the data, then we are making into true. Based on that, I can redirect to the home page. So that one also, if you see my previous video, you will understand. So for that, like I'm going to import the redirect method as well. Import like redirect. This is actually for redirecting to the home page. So react router DOM. If this dot state dot redirect reference is true, then change return like so. I'm using redirect component to home page. Sorry. Yes, so this is done now. So we need to work on here. So this is what the login function. So instead of that, I just created a one more API called signup. If you want, you can change whatever. I'll explain this how I made this signup. So this signup is required some post data. So I'm not sending any state because the state is very less. So I'm just creating a post data. So this post data we need to frame it. I'm just creating a post data variable in a let. So now I'm working for the Facebook and the same way for the Google. If the type equal to Facebook, do construct the Facebook, and I need to check what is the what is the response dot email. If you print the Facebook response, you will get the email directly like this. If the same thing for Google, it's a little different. So Google, so response dot w3 dot u3, because I can't explain here because I don't have to. If you see this live URL, you will see the console and you will see the actual things what is happening. Maybe I'm not sure. See if you see the Google one. So this is what it coming like. If you see w3 and then email, I'm getting it here. So this is what. So this is how I'm getting for the Google. If you inspect this, you will understand why I'm using that. So and now this is what the post data. So this post data, we need to send the information to the sign up. So this is what the sign up. So just stop it here and let me explain how actually I created the sign up function. So this is what the social API. Let me open this here. I hope I explained the previous video. This is what my sign up. So if you see my sign up, this is my small function, and then I'm just this one actually required this is what my table structure. I just created a user ID and name. Token is the like Facebook and Google, it will give you some token ID. This token, how it works is like if you want to post some data in a Google or Facebook, you can use this token. Maybe at this one I'll explain in future. And I'm storing the email, user email, and the provider. This actually it will store like what is its Facebook or Google, and the provider ID. The same way for using the token, you need provider ID. So I'm storing it here, and the provider pick because here like Google or Facebook pick, I'm storing it here. So that is what my table. And if you see my small PHP function, I'm just checking all the name, email, and small doing a regular expression is this email or not. And using a PDO connection, I'm just checking social users. But instead of that, you can use users because for my differentiation, I gave like this. And the user is already present. I mean, I'm just checking the email is already present. So I'm just ignoring it and get the details of the user based on the email. And because already existing user, that one I'm just like that's what the user data result actually you can get. And if there is no email in the database, I'm just inserting as a new user. So in this case, like, if you're using Facebook and Google as the same email, it will consider as one user, like, previous user. So both way you can use it. So that's why I created like this. And now the most important thing is this API is like open, like, anybody can use a post Google like Google Postman or something. They can insert all this information from the outside because it's the first the main login thing. So because if login and sign up also will get the same dummy data, but for you have to do some email activation. But in this case, like, people can spam your database. That's why. So there is an origin here. So basically you can fix the URL here instead of see. If you see my sign up URL, if you see my console and network, I'm just giving a login page, Google login. It is actually triggered here. This URL will not work outside because it's only works at React PayPal at 9lesson.info. And other, if you see all these orders, all this stuff, it works from outside. But this actually required a token, uh, user token password. I'm sending user tokens. That's why. So how to protect that? Like basically, you can protect entire API, giving like your website.com, but this actually will not. It will completely block your access. So that's why what I did is. Uh, so specifically for this sign up, I just written a small if check and checking the HTTP origin and your website URL. Like, so I'm actually allowing here. So that's what you can specifically give here. So rest of all other services you can, like, communicate with the token and user ID. So that way you can protect your RESTful APIs. So that only works at the origin app if you specify HTTPS or HTTP. If you want, you can try my URL, this URL, like, sign up URL, you will understand. So hope that's what the project for the PHP. You can check out from the Git and go back to the project. So now that sign up function requires like all this information. Like, I'm just creating a post data object. What actually it required is like name. This comes at rest.name, and then provider. You know that it's a type. This is what I'm using. And email. That email comes at the rest.email, and provider ID. It comes at the rest.id, and token like rest.access token, and provider provider pick is like rest.provider pick. So all these names for the if you see the RESTful, you will understand. The same thing is changing for the Google. There are different things. If you see the response, like response comes at the w3 dot ig. Look at this and you'll understand more. Go to the console, and maybe I just closed it. It's okay. Type is a Google here, and rest dot w3 dot u3 and rest dot el, so small l, and yeah, so much of difference. Let me, okay, this is what access token. And this one is like w3 dot paa. So yeah, let me show that again. Yeah, so this is what you'll understand. W3, where exactly the token is, all these things you can understand from this. See this EA, I don't know, maybe I missed something. Anyway, you just see this w3.paa, maybe provider ID I gave. Yep, this is what the project. Now what happening is, if you see that, once it logged in, uh, it actually send this information to the sign up service, and this actually gives the user data, and this user data has all the information like what is the UID and my name and the token. If you want, you can generate the token. If you see my previous videos how I'm generating the token, you'll understand. Don't confuse, that's the, I'm not storing in that token. The token is actually I'm generating with a hashtag. So using this UID and token, you can communicate with other information like all you can manage entire project. So that is how this works, and once it got working, and it will redirect to here, and now back to the home page, and you can like read the information from the user data. So this one again simple, because we are storing entire information in the session storage at user data. So back to the home page, and try to get the information like in the constructor, like if the data is available or not. So like I'm just creating one small constructor for creating a state and also props, super props, and this dot state. And here also you can maintain the state like this, same kind of thing for like if anything is wrong or something. So there is a small component like use like component did mount, like this helps like all the components got loaded, then it triggers. So this is a built-in React function. So there are will mount and did mount, all this stuff. So let's get the data from the session storage. Like you have to parse the data in it converting into JSON object. So session storage dot get item. So the same name I'm going to use, that's called user data. So if the data is present here, and so you can write some other functions like get details or get name or this all this stuff, and like you can create like anything like name or for example I'm giving an empty name, and like email or something, email. So here you can set the information like set state, so name equal to like data dot user data dot name. So the same way for email also you can set the values here, email. So this information you can use it here, like if you want to print it here, like instead of that this dot state dot name. So this way you can print the name or email or whatever you want, so that way you can print it. So and anyway you have to check if the session is not present, you have to redirect back to the home page. So I'm just writing a small if check here in the render function, and you have to import the same redirect thing. and pasting it here, and the same kind of a class I'm just copying and pasting it here. So instead of that, I'm directly checking this if this is present or not. For example, I'm just checking not, then go back to the login page. So yes, this way you can maintain the project. So here in my project, like if you see, once it got login, I'm just writing all the small functions like this, and using the post data, I'm just pulling all the order details and all other information. Just log in, get all the information. I can make an order and do PayPal checkout as well. All these things I implemented with React. Maybe I'll explain all these things in future. And thanks for watching my videos, and thanks a lot.